everybody. I'm Cassidy, one of your Indianapolis Colts cheerleaders, and you're watching the Believe in Colts podcast.
Welcome back to Believe in Colts. I'm Lawrence Owen. This is Donald Thomas, and today we are going to be discussing the AFC Wildcard matchups. That's right. All three games in this Wildcard weekend. We're going to give our opinions about the teams and a little prediction on how we feel like the game will go and score predictions. Donald, how are you doing today?
I can't complain, and if I did, no one cares, so it's all good.
that's yeah, I feel that same way. No one cares how we feel. They just want to know what our picks are going to be. Well, let's start off right off the bat. All right. Give me your thoughts of the Cleveland Browns heading to Houston this Saturday.
Believe it or not, you can argue all you want about the Texans being one of the hotter teams in football, but this Browns team is dangerous. And the reason why I'm gonna have to go with the Browns on this game, honestly, I think that they're going to be the stronger team in this game, and I don't care if they're on the road or not. For one reason is Joe Flacco. I mean, that was probably the most solid pickup that they had all year and off season, to say the least, with signing him off the street. I mean, you got a veteran guy who's done this before. He's been down this path. Who's done it for years. Is a proven starting NFL quarterback for a number of years. Was a franchise quarterback. Was one of the first quarterbacks to really break the $100 million contract. And he's just one of those guys that, being his age, albeit upper 30, I think he's like 38 or something like that. Doesn't matter, man. This guy's got experience. He's still got some juice left in the tank. And he's got all those guys in the locker room rallying behind him, and they're playing well. You can see it. There's a rejuvenated team in Cleveland, and as we see, we're not used to talking about Cleveland like this. So this is crazy to me that I'm even saying this about Cleveland, right? But at the end of the day, Houston still is a very young team, and I think this is where it stops at. Unfortunately for Houston, now I could be wrong, but this is how I feel. I feel like, this is one of those games that we talked about before where you can't make mistakes. And so there's no room for rookie mistakes now. This is the playoffs. This is big boy pads, big boy pants. It's time to roll. And I think, just with that being said, I think that Flacco leads Cleveland, brings Cleveland out of Houston with a win.
Wow. Well, before I get into how I feel about the game, I want to remind everybody that BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, NFL, NBA, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games, available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember, use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Absolutely, you was talking about Joe Flacco. You was heavy onto it. It took the Browns 4 quarterbacks and going out and getting somebody off their couch before they found their best quarterback of the year, right? Mm-hmm. Where their offense has been being carried all season long by Miles Garrett and that defense. And I think that is going to be the legit difference in this game, because you talk about Joe Flacco, this defense is nasty. Miles Garrett is nasty. All right. And it's not just Miles Garrett on that defense. They got some corners and some safeties that can do some damage and hold off Nico Collins. Look, outside of Nico Collins in the game against the Colts, what Texan did any damage to the Colts defense? None. Not really. I mean, you had a fullback come out of the backfield and get a touchdown. Okay, you get a trick play. Congratulations. But outside of that, I think this defense, they're so good at pressuring quarterbacks. Stroud is going to be in a situation. Look, if Stroud can handle the pressure in this game and do some of those rollouts that we saw against the Indianapolis Colts week 18, where he rolled out and extended the play and found Nico on a ball that everybody thought he was throwing the football away, and hit Nico for that big, third and super long. If he could do that a few times, I think they have a chance. But outside of that, I feel like the Browns got this, in a brown bag, right?
No pun intended, right?
No, yeah, no. The pun was definitely intended.
Yeah.
I got the Browns winning this game 31-17.
Oh, you're saying this is about to be a ass whooping. I mean, that's two scores, but like when you get up to over 24, like you're putting up points like that's a lot of points in football, especially in the NFL. Like 31 points. Like to me, I don't care if it's 24-31. Like you allow them to put up 31 points. So I see it being a 2-score game. I don't know about 14 points, maybe 10 points. But nonetheless, I just feel like with the Browns defense and Joe Flacco's confidence and his knowledge and his experience, I feel like they will prevail in this game. And so this is one where this is going to be learning experience for Houston. Like this is one where you don't hang your head after the game. You had a hell of a year. You probably had the Coach of the Year award goes to D'Amico. Like you have to think about all these factors. You're probably up for Rookie of the Year for C.J. Stroud. Like so, there's a lot of positive takeaway, and all you're going to do right now is just hopefully just keep building from there. And don't be like the Rams and go to a Super Bowl, win it, and then become one of the freaking jokes of the NFL.
Right. Let's move on to the next game. We got the Dolphins heading over to Kansas City to face them pesky Chiefs. What are your thoughts about this game?
Wow. Oh, man. Let's take into the account the weather that's supposed to be moving in there. It's supposed to be frigid. It's supposed to be, they're talking about like 0 degrees type cold, like wind chill, like all that. Like this might be one of them games where, the weather might just be the thing that takes out the Dolphins, right? Tyreek Hill has played in this before a number of times. He played there previously, so it's not going to affect the Cheetah, but I don't know how it's going to affect the rest of the team. I remember when I was playing for the Dolphins and we went and played the Chiefs in December, and it was brutal. Guys had icicles hanging from their beards at pregame, right? So we got our butts whipped because of it, because guys were just kind of just like we were in shock with that weather. It was like 80-something degrees when we left Miami. So, but nonetheless, I think that the Chiefs here, the Chiefs teetered and tottered all year with some losses, here and there, but we see it every year when it's time to dial in, when it's time for them to really get it done. Mahomes gets it done, and hopefully he stays healthy. But I really feel like the Chiefs are going to pull this one out. I think the Dolphins had a great run this year. I think the Chiefs win by at least 10 points or more.
Look, both these teams are 11-6, and both these teams have their problems, right? Dolphins went on a few game slides as of late with the Hill and other players, injured or just gone, right? Like they're one of their main pass rushers, I believe Chubb, right, is gone. I think he's still gone for the season, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So, and then of course the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes is throwing to a bunch of guys that have their hands in the butter jar before the game, right? And so you're seeing a lot of that, and if they're dropping passes in good weather, imagine what it's going to be like trying to catch the ball, like you said, when the ball itself is below freezing. It's almost impossible to hold on to that football, right? Yeah. So if it's going to be this cold, it's going to be a lot of short, quick passes and a lot of running the football, and who's going to want to play physical in that. And I'm kind of with you on that. I think that the Chiefs right now are a bit more of a physical team. They changed that when they, moved on from Tyreek. They changed their they tried to become more of a physical team, defensively and offensively, to try to help with, the weather situation, I think.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't want to solely just put this on the weather, right?
No.
But I'm just saying, like, experience-wise, and I know you're not saying that either, but just experience-wise, I think overall, physicality, and just experience, like guys understanding that how to get it done and understanding like the mistakes we made to make us 11-6. We can't have those same mistakes and think we're going to win a playoff game, right? And so I think Kelsey steps up big. I think the running game, Pacheco steps up big. I think Mahomes steps up even bigger. And I think that defense with Chris Jones and those boys, I think they played lights out. And, but here's the deal. Like, Dolphins have a good D-line. I think Dolphins have a pretty solid offensive line too. So it's going to be, we'll see. Like, whoever can weather the storm in this cold is going to be the team that prevails. Seriously. Like, I know, like, for a fact, like, when it gets physical, when it's cold like that, it gets to be physical, but it's just like it wears on you a lot quicker than it does when it's hot, believe it or not.
Yeah, I feel like this is a game that's going to be a little tighter than what the game that I called the first one. I'm looking more like a 21-17.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
What you were looking at.
I can see a 21-17 and then like a late score at the end to ice the whole deal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just put it to bed. That's why I said, 10 points, but we'll see, man. I don't think it'll be a blowout just because of how cold it's going to be. But I just feel like the Chiefs are going to make less mistakes. But we could be wrong, right? It's playoff football. Like we've seen some of the craziest things in playoff football.
Oh, absolutely. And like you say, I mean, like I said earlier, the Chiefs receivers can't catch the football, then they're not winning the game. So, but I feel like they'll, like you said, this is a game it's time. It's time. Everything's on the line. The season's on the line. I think they'll come up big.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next game, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Amazingly, both these teams shot week 18. Steelers made it into the playoffs. Bills took the division. In week 18. I mean, my goodness. Now, that's pretty darn impressive in my opinion.
I always said, who is my Super Bowl contender out of the AFC from week 1? I said this. Mm-hmm. It's the Buffalo Bills. It's over for the Steelers. I don't know how long Mike Tomlin has left in Pittsburgh. I don't know what kind of dirty pictures he's got on somebody, how he's still coaching after these years as a head coach. You're not winning in Buffalo. Now, here's the playoffs. It can get crazy, but you're not. This team heated up when they have heated up at the right time and got consistently better. My problem is this. They are turnover prone. And as good as Josh Allen is, he turns the ball over. I think he had 2 picks and a fumble last game, right? Like, if my memory serves me correct, like you can't make those mistakes in the playoffs and expect to win. So I'm leaving the door open here, right? But Tony the tow truck driver in Buffalo and all his mates are going to be at this game. I remember when we played. When I was playing for the Dolphins. Our O-line coach he's from Boston, Italian dude from Boston, Dave De Guglielmo, we call him Googe. And Googe was saying, listen, I'm telling you right now, Buffalo, it's different in Buffalo. I'm telling you right now, they hate the Dolphins, and I'm telling you, Tony the tow truck driver is he's gonna clock out from work and park the tow truck four blocks down and walk to the stadium. And then he's going to watch the game and go back to towing trucks outside. Like, I'm just telling you right now, like, they live this, they breathe this. It's a different place. Like, and it is. It's Buffalo's different. If you've never been to Buffalo, they live and die with their Bills. And this is everything for them. And this is big. And the Bills are back in the playoffs. And they're going to ride out with them. And it's going to be electric in that stadium. I don't care. It could be a freaking nor'easter snowstorm with 3 feet of snow, and it's still going to be sold out. Right,
well, I'll tell you what, the Steelers look a little bit better on offense with Mason Rudolph at quarterback.
Oh, 100%. Mason Rudolph is better than Kenny Pickett. Like, I don't know what allegiance they have to Kenny Pickett where they're trying to justify a draft pick, but I'm gonna tell you right now, Mason Rudolph should have been starting quarterback this whole season, and Kenny Pickett should have been the one that was just ready to go at a minute's notice, because this kid came back in and shut everybody up. Now, granted, yes, they are playing better with Mason, but I just don't see them winning this football game.
I hear you. Najee Harris has not been the guy that
all year
expected him to be this year. It's been Jalen Warren's show over in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah. This is just a team that surprised everybody about even getting in the playoffs. This is a team who I just didn't think I was giving them like 7-8 wins on the season. And they just squeak into the playoffs. I get it. Hats off to you for doing that, but it's over. You got Buffalo. You got, in my opinion, the hottest team in the playoffs right now.
I'm not going to put it past Mike Tomlin's defense to create, as you talked about it, turnovers. That's the thing. Getting pressure on Josh, creating turnover. This defense is built around pressure and turnovers, and they're good at it and have been good at it all year. We were talking about Cleveland earlier, and their defense and what they've done, and they've carried the team. This defense has done the exact same thing for Pittsburgh, right? They've carried this team on, pressure on quarterbacks and getting turnovers. And look, I would like to see Pittsburgh win. In all honesty, I don't think they're going to. Just because, look, we just saw another team that was defense heavy, that the defense was supposed to carry the team, and had a defensive-minded head coach that's been there for 6 years. Mike Tomlin's been there longer, but over with the Titans, and he got fired, right? First off, I don't think he should have been fired. I think that was a dumb mistake by the owner. But I think getting rid of Mike Tomlin would be kind of dumb too. All right, that's my own personal opinion. I feel like if he wins at least one game in the playoffs this year, he's guaranteed to stick around. Right? That's how I feel about it. I don't think it happens though. I'm with you on the Buffalo thing.
Yeah, I mean, when you come from the success that you had before, where you won, we had a Hall of Fame quarterback, you won Super Bowls, yada yada yada, and now we go from that to this. I get it, right? I get there's a transition, there's a grace period, there's all of that, but they just don't play like how they used to play. They're not the Steelers of old. They don't have that juice. They're not physical like they used to be. They don't have that potent offense with those high octane playmakers anymore. They just been lacking that for a number of seasons now. And I just feel like right now, it might be a situation like Houston where you get like some new, fresh blood in at the head coaching position to kind of refuel these guys. But I could be wrong. Here's my thing: I just want the Pittsburgh Steelers to lose solely because my ex-wife is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I'm just gonna go out and say that. That's one of the main reasons why I want them to lose, because I know shut up. But no, seriously, everything I said about who I think should win, I think
so you got to kind of rub it in their face when the Colts beat them.
Unfortunately, we don't communicate. We don't talk like that about anything besides
our
children. But I'm like, yeah, they lost. Yeah, take that one. Have a good night. Yeah, but yeah, I see this being not a blowout, but this is going to be, I feel like a 3-4 point game.
Yeah, I feel like it could be a blowout. It really depends upon how the Steelers defense hangs with this Buffalo offense, because Buffalo over the last month has found their run game for the first time since Josh Allen has been there. Yeah. Right. And that makes this team very, very scary, and they found it at the right time when they didn't even think that they were even good. They were below 500 at one point this season, right? Just not too long ago, and then went on this run to make the playoffs. So, and a lot of that is relying on Cook back there at running back and other guys. So not just Josh Allen, So
yeah, your lead rusher cannot be your quarterback unless you're Lamar Jackson.
Unless you're Lamar Jackson. And even then, that's not a good thing.
No, right? I mean, you're holding your breath every time he runs with the ball, so it's not a great thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like look, both these teams know how to play in bad weather anyhow. And it's probably going to be snowing like nasty.
Yeah.
So I still feel like this is a game. It'll be in the 20s. It'll probably be something like 25 to. This legitimately could be a 1-point game, 25-24.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough.
So we'll see what happens. I do expect probably 4 turnovers total in this game between both teams.
I hope it's not like that, but we'll see.
We'll see what happens. Well, hey, I think that's going to do it for this episode where we went over the AFC for the playoffs of the wild card round. Check us out on the other episode where we talk about the NFC matchups. And this will do it for myself as Lawrence Owen, Donald Thomas. This was Believe in Colts, brought to you by Bet Online. And as usual, have a good one.
Peace.
Do you believe?